Hey everyone, welcome to Draw with Keith. We're going to see how this goes this morning. Hopefully everyone has success tuning in. I'm going to get a few things set up and then we'll be ready to go. We're going to draw a couple images this morning, including the famous 1859 balloon voyage. How many of you have ridden in that before? It's one of my favorite things to do at Conner Prairie. And then we're going to start with that, and then we'll do a little trickier drawing. We're going to do the English Longhorn, one of our heritage breeds at Conner Prairie. You probably saw one of our Monday videos we did with our agriculture team. They took us through the history of the English Longhorn, and we got up close with them, and it was super fun to just get to know them more. The Monday meet and greets have been a really neat part of our Conner Prairie at home. Can everyone hear me okay? Hoping that's working, so. All right, guys, so let's get started. I think the sound's working. First, you need to grab your wonderful pencil. Now, there's a lot of different options for pencils. You can do a number 2 pencil, you can do a drafting pencil, you can do a kid's pencil, whatever you have lying around. A lot of my friends, when I've done this, have had to grab a pen, which is fine too. The problem is, come time to add our wonderful Sharpie to really make our image pop, you have this pen to work with, and it makes it kind of difficult to see past the pen to your Sharpie, and that's the challenge I've found. So I prefer pencil. All right, so let's get started with our balloon. Now, I asked this earlier, but now that we have a few more people watching, who's ridden the balloon at Conner Prairie? I know the first time I went up, I was very nervous. I didn't eat lunch beforehand, which was a bad idea. So I was a little nauseous, but that's because you kind of need a solid belly for this. But it's really one of the more amazing aspects of Conner Prairie. And this past year was the 10th anniversary of it being at Conner Prairie, so that was pretty cool. All right, so a balloon, it's circular. So we're going to start with a circle. I know it can be tricky to draw a circle sometimes, so you can use a cup if you want, and just draw around it. That would be an easy way to draw a circle. Or you could use a string tied to a pencil, if you've ever seen that trick. Put your pencil in the middle, and a string right here, and you can draw around it. That's another technique, but I like to just freehand. I've done a few circles in my time, so that's helpful. Okay, so there's the balloon structure. Did you know our balloon is not actually filled with what you think it's filled with? It's filled with helium. It's not filled with hot air. And it's a combination of helium. I'm no expert on the balloon. You'll have to talk to the other guys about that, Chris or Terry, but it's filled with helium, fun fact. A lot of helium. I believe we use the most helium in the state of Indiana, but in the winter it'll shrink up a little bit, and then occasionally it gets refilled, but I don't know the exact details on that. So I'm not gonna keep talking about it because I don't wanna mess something up. So for the balloon, let's keep going. Let's draw our carriage that's below the balloon. The carriage is gonna be about right here, so you can kind of just estimate where you wanna put your carriage. And since it's a three-dimensional object, you can kind of just do more of an oval shape below your balloon. You see that? Does that make sense? Then you're gonna come up above and kind of flesh that out. It kind of looks like a drum, like that you would play. And then, or a tire, or a can of sardines, if you like that kind of thing. I'm gonna switch to my mechanical pencil because I don't have a pencil sharpener handy. Hey Brad, I'll try to comment to some of you guys, but it's very hard to focus. So there we go. There's our carriage. Now our carriage has a bit of a separation to it. There's the bottom section, which is closed off, which is great for kids, especially my daughter. She did not like going up and being held. She preferred to stay and walk around. So there's the bottom section that's closed off. And then we have these little posts all around the cage of the carriage that you can add in there. And this is a sketch, like I said. You're just sketching in, and we'll come back later with our beautiful Sharpie, one of my favorite tools, and we will be able to kind of use that Sharpie to hide our mistakes if we have any. All right, so since this balloon is three-dimensional, and based on the bottom of the carriage, you can do the bottom of the balloon, which is a little smaller. So you see that circle? That's the bottom of the balloon. And the balloon is airtight, not like a hot air balloon. Someone on staff is a whiz at balloons. They watched that Eddie Redmayne movie and corrected me on a couple things. I believe it's the famous Rachel Poe from Sew with Poe, if you've seen that video. She is a pro at these, Poe the pro, whatever. All right, so now we'll come up, we'll do a straight line right up your balloon. Even though the balloon's round, you can still have a straight line if you look at the lines perfectly. There's a series of these stripes all around the balloon. So from there, from that center line, because you're looking straight at it, as you go around, the lines will get more curved because, why? Because the balloon's curved. Yeah. All right, now we'll keep it tight down there, and then they gather back up at the top. As you go around, it gets more curved. You do that on the other side. And I don't claim to be a super expert at drawing, so if the physics of this are off, that's okay. All right, now we're gonna need to leave room for the beautiful Reynolds farm equipment signage that will also be on this. So I'm gonna add in another line that will be the bottom of our signage. And that kind of echoes the bottom of the carriage and the bottom of the balloon. Does that make sense? So, as these lines go around, they get wider and wider. You kind of just evenly space them around. Obviously, when they get to the edge of the balloon, they're a little more evenly spaced, just like the circle at the bottom. So when we come back with our Sharpie, we'll clean that up a little bit. But I'm going to leave room for the Reynolds signage, which is approximately 3 stripes apart. So we're going to do this. We'll do these 3 stripes here. 1, 2, 3. And then we come 1, 2, 3 over. We have our other sign. How high do you think the balloon goes? It goes 370 feet in the air. enough to see downtown Indianapolis, Noblesville, and so on. It goes, you can see pretty far on a good day. Every time I go to Jager's restaurant with my mom for lunch, we can see the balloon fly in the air. Of course, this is when things are open. So now let's add some of our lines. There's a lot of strings holding this balloon up. So I'm going to kind of simplify it. Kind of echoing the amount of lines in the balloon. And over here I'm going to throw in the American flag. The balloon was actually made, I've got some facts here, Aerophile SA, it's a French company. They manufactured and installed this tethered balloon, which, by the way, the tether comes from a whole rig that's right yonder, and it's attached and it comes down through the balloon down to the ground. They've been in business since '94 and sold over 50 of these balloons in more than 20 countries. Cities including Paris, Berlin, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai. I believe there's one at Disney World. Any Disney fans out there? No? They have one, but it's pretty much like ours, I believe. But it's got different wrapping. Ours is wrapped with this kind of signature striped look that's kind of echoes the past from the balloon experience. If you've ever been there, talks about the history of balloon voyages in mail across Indiana. All right, so here we go. We're gonna add a few more tethered strings to the balloon. They kind of sag down different levels. I'm just gonna kind of throw them in here. Keep them light. They're very thin. We don't want that to be the focus of our drawing. So, and then I'm gonna add a little nameplate under one of these pillars or these posts on the gondola that'll say Conner Prairie. It's gonna be very tiny, so I won't do much detail on it. The gondola is also open on the bottom, so we'll do another similar circle there. Kind of like a donut, a very rigid donut. I love donuts. All right, so there's a few different rings on this guy here. So we'll kind of echo in some more rings there. Any questions at this point, guys? We actually shared something from Visit at Hamilton County the other day. I don't know if you saw it on our Twitter. They did a series of historic landmark coloring pages around Hamilton County. That was pretty cool. I shared their balloon, which is pretty similar to this one. It's a little more simplified. And the coloring pages we do here on Draw with Keith, I'm going to offer up the final product for you guys to print and color at home with your kids. And we'd love to see you post those. Mention Conner Prairie at home, which is the hashtag CP at home. And tag us. We'd love to see your photos, guys, your drawings. We're hoping to do this a little more often. So hopefully if there's good engagement, we'll do it more. All right, so there's our balloon. Now we're gonna come back with our Sharpies. Hopefully you have a Sharpie. You can use a colored Sharpie. I've had friends use crayons, all kinds of stuff. So the Sharpie will really solidify our drawing. So we're gonna come in here, and this is kind of a big Sharpie. That's fine. If you mess up, it's fine. I like to tell myself that because I'm a perfectionist, and so when I mess up, I'm not happy about that. So kind of just flesh in your lines there. You can kind of see the three-dimensional elements come through. Try to follow the best you can the lines you made. Since we're doing an object like this that's so obviously has a look, doing smoother lines is better. But when we move on to the English Longhorn after this, it's a natural thing, so having more natural lines is totally fine, and people won't be like, that doesn't look like it, because there's all kinds of English Longhorns that have different faces and bodies, so totally fine. All right, now we'll come up here, and I'm not going to do the lines on the strings, the ropes yet, because I want to get my balloon solidified, so I'm going to add that line in. And we'll come over here, do your circle. It's a little more difficult. The sketch was to really get it in there, you see, because once we come with the Sharpie, it really solidifies it, makes it a lot more difficult. All right, so now we'll come in, add in our balloon lines. This is a chance to kind of fix any problems you had. Actually switching up where the lines go through the Reynolds logo. So I'm going to have it go up to the bottom of the Reynolds logo. Like I said, there's 3 apart. I believe there's 4 different logos around the balloon. So that tells you how many stripes there are on this balloon. I want to say that equals 21. But I'm not going to get that perfect, because that would be tricky. But if you want to, by all means, if it helps you out, definitely try to do 21 lines. But I'm just getting it in to give you the idea. All right, now we can add in some more of our strings. I'm gonna actually use a thinner Sharpie. Right, this is a little dried out, but we'll try to make it work. And that'll help get those thinner lines. Since it's dried out, it also gives it some texture. Just not a bad thing. All right, and then we can come out here with these lines and keep it free flowing. You don't have to get too perfect with them, but I am varying them so they show up. And see how they're a little lighter, so they aren't as conflicting with the rest of the image. Add in the American flag here. Since it's so small, we won't do too much detail on it. And I'll actually sketch in a little bit of the Reynolds logo. Why not? It's a nice R that forms a tractor. And try to curve your logo just like you would, because it's on a curved object. So there you go. And now I won't put in the words Reynolds because it's going to be so tiny, but the logo itself helps represent Reynolds as well. Logos are a fun thing. They're tricky, but they're a good way to brand yourself if you can't put words in. You guys have any favorite logos? Nike, McDonald's. Those are some pretty popular ones. Mac. Any Mac fans out there? Definitely a Mac fan here. All right. Any questions? We're going to come back with our Sharpie and lock in that logo. Just follow your sketch lines. I know I do it kind of fast, but thankfully through the magic of video, you guys can come back, watch this as many times as you want. We're going to post it to our YouTube channel as well, so you can share it with your friends. And we'll hopefully have a few of these when we're done. All right. And now, just for fun, I'm going to add in a few of the excess points on the balloon where they refill it come time. There's also a nice net over the whole balloon, if you've noticed. The net helps keep the structure. It also helps with the weatherization. So I'm going to add in some wheels down here. Had the opportunity to go up in the balloon during Headless Horseman. That was pretty fun. It's fun to see the grounds lit up at night. Any of you go to Mary Prairie Holiday? I don't think the balloon was flying during that because of the colder weather, but we took a drone up and got some cool shots, and that was pretty neat to see. All the lights. I'm just going back, darkening these a little bit. I know I said it's okay that they're light, but I also said I'm a perfectionist, so there you go. All right, so there's our balloon. Any questions, guys? You're doing great. So that's our first drawing. Like I said, I hope you guys take a picture of your drawing and post it for us. I really want to see how you're doing. I'm hoping this tutorial is helpful. I know it will be. And when I see your work, that'll prove to me that what I've done has worked. So there's our 1859 balloon voyage. You can visit our website for more information on the balloon voyage, because that is a great place to get your information on our balloon right now, since you can't fly in it or visit the exhibit around the balloon. We're hoping to do more videos about the different exhibits at Conner Prairie right now during Conner Prairie at Home during this close time. I hope you guys been tuning in to CP at Home on our website. We've put together a great collection of content from our interpreters and staff and ag, and there's just a lot of great content on there that I think you guys will really appreciate. So yeah, be sure to use CP at Home, and this will show up with all that content. All right, there's your balloon. All right, I'm gonna move it now, and we're gonna switch to a different drawing. All right, I've got my beautiful branded paper. Thanks to our amazing designer, Maddie Williams. Shout out. She helped to brand Conner Prairie at Home. Okay, now we're gonna move on to our English Longhorn, one of our heritage breeds. Like I said, we have a video on this with CP at Home with Meet and Greet Mondays. You can check out the English Longhorn, learn about them. We're gonna be doing another one on our Ossawa hogs. I might have butchered that name, sorry. Hey Jesse. But we have a lot of heritage breeds. They're really cool. Time period related animals around Conner Prairie. The team has put a lot of work into getting authentic animals that would have been around during the time of Prairie Town. So that's why we have heritage breeds. So we're gonna do the Longhorn. This is a very intimidating animal. I might post a 3D photo of it later, but one mooed at me one day and it was frightening. We also put him on TikTok. But anyway, I'm distracting myself. I need to talk through how to draw this. All right, so here's the head. It's kind of an upside down, long egg shape. We'll start with that. Then we'll go and do, these are the horns. The horns on the English Longhorn are not like your perfect horns sometimes. Sometimes they go down, sometimes they go up. And our ag team could probably better tell you why that happens. But I'm assuming it's based on just over the years how they grow in, but I'm not sure. It's pretty cool though. They talked about Roundabout in our video the other day, how we got him as a little guy, and he's a big old guy now. They're super adorable as kids. There's one or two little ones there right now, and I'm sure they'll still be kids by the time we open, so that'll be fun for you guys to check out. They're a lot less intimidating than the big guys, especially when they move. All right, so we're adding in some nostrils. I did this kind of square for the snout. I think that's the term for, I don't know if that's just a pig thing. I'll say it's a snout. Then we add these, like the front of a D and a C on this side. That's kind of fleshing out the nostrils on the cow. And down here we have the mouth. Just a little handle on the bottom. When we come back with our Sharpies again, that'll help flesh out those. And then the eyes are on the side of the head, kind of. Depends on the angle you're looking at him. This guy's looking straight on. This photo is actually from one of our ag staff, Emily Nyman. She's a great photographer. She takes so many amazing photos of our animals. Shout out to her, Stephanie and the whole team, Ellen. Now we're gonna add in the other horn over here. It's gonna go this way. This horn goes like that. Kind of a C shape. Very oblong C shape. Then the ears, again, this is a sketch, so that's why I'm not finishing pieces as I go. I'm kind of moving around. The ears kind of come out from here. It's like a long C, a champion, your champion logo. And then the other ear will tuck up under the horn. It's a backwards C or a long D. I'm not trying to think of a logo that has a long D. I'm not quite sure. And then kind of some just shading on the side of the nose. We can get into detail with the Sharpie, the patterns of their hair. They kind of are like a tuft in the middle and they go out. There's a lot of cowlicks on this. Cowlicks, huh? Is that where that came from? I don't know. All right, then we're gonna come down with the leg. And we've got the neck that kind of works its way up here. Like I said, with this, compared to the balloon, it's more of a natural drawing, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And the body's gonna come back here. We're just gonna let that go back there. We don't need to flesh that out. All right. How are your drawings coming, guys? Looking okay? Gonna add in our CP at home hashtag. All right. How are those Longhorns doing? We're going live a few times on Facebook here and there. Last week we had Rudy Tunes do a live concert. Hopefully a few of you tuned in for that. That was fun. Next Tuesday we're gonna do a live Q&A with an interpreter on Tuesday. Talk with an interpreter Tuesday, I think is the terminology. And that'll be fun. You can bring your questions. We'll have our interpreters decked out, ready to answer. That'll be a fun one. I'll be excited to hear what they talk about. And you can bring any questions you might have. And they will know what to do. All right, so the horns go basically up to the head all the way before the hair starts. We can add some texture to the horns. And then this horn's got a little hair that I'll sketch in and then curves around up here. I think all of our Longhorns have names. I'm not 100% sure, but if you guys have name suggestions, I want to hear them. get those eyes more fleshed out. Put some eyelids around them. I don't have these guys memorized, so I am using a reference photo, but that's okay. That's how we can draw sometimes. I'm the kind of person that works a lot better when I have a reference image. I have a few things memorized in my head, but not necessarily a cow. So there's the face. It's coming in. How are we doing? And then the ears are very fluffy and fuzzy. We can put those in, but they're going to be covered by fur or hair. I think they have hair. I'm not sure. So we're kind of just adding in some hair detail. We won't get too much with the hair because it'll just be a mess of Sharpie when we're done. So then we're kind of just solidifying those lines. Belly coming through there. Just adding in different lines to give it that texture. This cow has a bit of a pattern on him, this Longhorn. So I'll add in some of that around. Get a little bit of a darker hair pattern there. And then the nose. You know what noses look like. Cows have similar ones. And then in here is very dark because it's the nostril. So we're adding in some pores, if you will. I don't quite know what the nose of a English Longhorn is made of, but they look like pores. And then use your pencil to add in more hairs. And there you go. There's the sketch of your English Longhorn. And we're going to come in with our Sharpie. And if you guys have any suggestions for future drawings, I'd love to hear them. Any other things around Conner Prairie you'd like to see sketched? And again, we'll offer this guy on social media. If you want to print it out and color it, that'd be awesome. So now we come in with our amazing Sharpie. We're going to do our main lines first. You can start anywhere you want. I'm starting on the legs. And then it's kind of waddle, neck, fat. No offense to this cow. And our legs come down here. All right, then we'll come up here, outline the nose. This is a chance to keep a natural flow to your Sharpie, but also solidify those lines. Again, they're sketch lines, so that doesn't mean you have to follow them perfectly, because that, I mean, some people prefer the sketch lines to follow perfectly, but I'm just giving you permission. You don't have to. There's the horns. All right, we're going to add in our eyes. We also might do this on Instagram Live, if that's a better location for you guys than Facebook Live. We'll see. Use that Sharpie to kind of darken those nostrils. Don't get too crazy with it. You want to keep the detail. All right. Go up here. He's got some wicked lashes. And we'll come back with our smaller Sharpie and add in some more detail. But we're doing the hairs on the outside for now. I won't actually draw the ear part, I'll just do the hairs. Because that was what the sketch was for, to kind of help us get our ears in place. That one goes behind. This one goes in front. I can't imagine having horns stuck to my head. That would be challenging. Add in some texture. Come back here with the body. I'm just going to let that go into the end of the paper. Don't need to get it perfect. And then we can add in some lines for our hair. A little finer, like I said, but it kind of swirls around in two pieces like that. A lot of tough calico hair. And we can add in those dots on the nose. We added in a bunch in the sketch, but we don't need to follow all those. They're just for reference. So we'll go up here. There's also hair up here. A lot of hair everywhere. And then the bottom lip's just kind of dark, little texture. And now, with my eyes, I like to leave a little white dot in the middle of them. That is how you see the life in the face. So I'm going to darken it in, but I'm going to leave a little white at the top. Same with this guy. So you see that white at the top of the eye? It gives it a little more life than it would have if you just blacked in the whole eye. All right, now I'm going to come in with my pencil and add in some more solid detail with whiskers. Did you know that our English Longhorns have whiskers? All right, now I'm going to come back with the Sharpie and add in some of this Longhorns cow pattern or fur pattern. That's a simple way to represent the bend in the knee. All right. Kind of some of those rolls are coming through. You can add in some spots here. And then most of the Longhorns' hair is very dark, so we don't need to get too crazy with it, but we can add it in. You can vary up the direction if you want. That helps just represent that it's dark over there. I won't do cross-stitching lines because classically on a cartoon, that equals a bruise. And so I don't want to do too much of that, if you know what I'm talking about. When cartoons get injured, you see this cross-stitch and that equals a bruise or a fight mark. So there is your English Longhorn for the most part. And you can always come back with your pencil and erase some of those lines that you sketched, and that'll really make the Longhorn pop. And you'll see the Sharpie lines a lot more. So there you go, guys. Thanks, Zach. I could only aspire to be like Bob Ross. I'm hoping at least my voice is Bob Ross. That soothing voice he has. We could add in a tiny little tree over here if you want. Those are in the background. You can also add some grass. It's higher up because it's in the background. There you go. Tiny little tree. It's more of a bush, but it's okay. And you just simply come back. The sketch was just to get our lines in, our placement, and you can add in your own lines. A little texture, some leaves. I'm not going full leaf on these guys. Just some accents to give the idea of leaves. Okay guys, well, there's your English Longhorn, one of our heritage breeds at Conner Prairie. They're very loud when they moo in your face, but they're very sweet. All right guys, that's our first Draw with Keith. We're hoping to do this again. Thanks, Laura. If you guys drew along with me, be sure to post your images and tag us. We'd love to see them. I'll bring in the balloon again. There's your 2 images for today. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you had some fun. Again, if you have any suggestions of drawings for the future, we'd love you to share them. We'll probably do some more animals, more heritage breeds. And again, I'll put these up on our social media for you guys to download and color. And we would love to see what you come up with. So we hope you guys have a great day and a good start to your weekend. And thanks for drawing with Keith. And we hope you guys check out Conner Prairie at Home, which is probably sponsored by Roche. That's been great to have them help out with CP at Home, because this is a great opportunity to bring Conner Prairie home to you guys in a lot of different ways. So we hope you continue to check out the stuff we're posting, and again, have a great weekend.